How's it going, everybody? My cup of tea here, back on a reaction video. Today, we're here to check out something that I've been meaning to check out for a while now. Because today, we're here to check out the Absolute Batman series. Now, I know absolutely nothing about the Absolute Batman besides I've seen some terrifying depictions of Killer Croc, Mr. Freeze, and I think the Joker. I don't know if that's real or not, but I'm like, whoa, how is Batman gonna beat these people? But other than that, I don't know anything about the series, but apparently it's a brutal series, and so I want to get like a little general knowledge of Absolute Batman. So today we're gonna be watching Absolute Batman, the most brutal Batman ever. Now, depending on how I feel about the series from this video, I might dive more into the Absolute Batman series because I think there's a YouTube video that came out like a few months ago that like dives in deeper into the origins of the Absolute Batman. Yeah, we'll take it from there. But let's start with this video right now. Let's see what Absolute Batman's all about. Let's see what it's all about, because again, I've seen some crazy images, but I don't know too much about, you know, how crazy this Batman can get, or how brutal this Batman can get. My fault. Because yeah, I've seen some crazy images, but I don't know how brutal this Batman really can get. So yeah, let's see what's going on.
What's going on, guys? This is Rob, and we are here with Absolute Batman and DC's new Absolute Universe, which is just DC's version of the Ultimate Universe in Marvel Comics.
Okay.
Scott Snyder killed this story. It's amazing.
Oh,
so
Scott Snyder
what
makes story.
this opens up with Gotham City, and initially we follow this guy on a motorcycle, and he has this really cool monologue, right, where he says, "Hello again, Gotham. It's been a long time. So who are you these days? Who have you become while I was gone? You're prettier, I'll give you that, taller and brighter. My third lap around and I still cannot find it. Where's your heart?
You looking for crime? What are you looking
have
for?
A center, hot and beating, but something's hollowed you out. In fact, I barely recognize you anymore. I'm not sure I like this new you, Gotham."
Huh? Whenever I used to watch like the Batman series, like, you know, Cartoon Network or whatever, Gotham always looks like depressed and like evil, just like, hey, there's crime every day happening. I miss crime. I don't know if that's like how it is really, but I'm like, he sounds like, man, I miss when you guys were evil and there's crime happening everywhere. What's up with that? Why so peaceful all of a sudden?
But that's okay. I don't think you're going to like me much either.
Why?
My name is Alfred
That's
Pennyworth,
Alfred? Oh,
and I'm
shoot.
here to do some bad things.
Huh?
This is so cool, because I'll tell you guys right now, yes, this is a Batman story. Alfred Pennyworth is amazing in this story. I don't think he's ever been better in DC Comics than he is in this story, and it's solid. And so what he does is he basically makes his way back to his house, which isn't really much of an apartment at all, because he's not part of the Wayne family. At least he's not the kindly butler that we're traditionally used to. Scott Snyder leans very heavily into Alfred's military history, which is to say that in DC Comics, Alfred has a history largely associated with military.
I didn't even know about that.
Sometimes he was a soldier, sometimes he was a medic. It depends on what era of DC Comics we're talking about. In this instance, he has not left it behind, and in fact, he's really more a soldier of fortune than anything else. Of course, he is still estranged from his daughter Julia, just like he is in a lot of the other stories that exist.
I didn't know he had a dog. I don't know too much about Alfred. I just always thought he was the butler that sometimes had to shot somebody or something. I didn't even know he had a butler. I'm not too deep into the Batman, you know, lore. Spider-Man, yes. Batman, I'm not that well versed in it.
Just out there. The difference here is that unlike Batman Eternal and the main DC universe, where she ultimately seemed to reconcile with Alfred, here none of that happens, right? She's just like, don't ever contact me again. And so for Alfred himself, he signs into a secure connection to basically his handler, the folks that pay him in order to do whatever it is that he needs to do. And so what he does is he asks, what's the assignment? And they say, in the past 3 months, a gang known as the Party Animals has been sowing chaos, butchering citizens at random, raising the murder rate by 700% almost single-handedly. A daycare was torched yesterday. They danced outside while 30
What did daycare do to you people?
And so Alfred's just kind of like, I read the docket, right?
They gotta be murdered.
Why did you pull me out of Singapore? I was this close to the target. I've been chasing him for like 5 years. And that's where they say, you're needed here. Now, the cool thing is they also give him another piece of information. And they say, there might be another player in town. We've only caught glimpses, but he seems to be circling the gang as well. Now, of course, based on the little image they give him, clearly it's Batman. And I'll tell you guys right now,
Oh yeah, I see
Absolute
right there. Yeah.
Batman is amazing, dude. Oh my
Let me.
god,
I
I
gotta
love
see
the
it.
way that
I gotta
Bruce Wayne
see
is
it.
handled in this story. It's phenomenal. And so what they do is they send him coordinates to do two things. The first is to monitor the party animal gang, and the second is to seemingly keep tabs on Batman. And that's when you switch over to Bruce Wayne himself. Now,
Okay.
this is
Okay.
also another big difference between the main DC universe and this
That brother
absolute
looking
universe,
jacked.
in the sense that you pick up in Croc's gym when Bruce Wayne basically starts practicing with a punching bag, and you get a little bit of a throwback to his childhood where he's spending time with his father. Now there is a kind of lesson that goes back and forth where, after studying the lions and everything, his father's like, what did we learn? And the response of really Batman is, it says that he sleeps 20 hours a day, plus he gets fed prime rib 3 times a day and never has to be afraid of anything. This kid's living the life. Now, what's interesting here is he addresses his father as Mr. Wayne. There's a reason for that, and it's actually a really, really, really cool reason. But at the end of the day, Thomas Wayne asks him, "Are you excited for the movie later on tonight?" Of course, Bruce Wayne says, "Well,
No,
I'm more
not
excited
the
for that than
movie.
anything
Don't
else."
go
And so
to the movie.
ultimately, it's just kind of like, cool, right? Let's get going, class. And so that's when you realize
Class.
Thomas Wayne in the Absolute Universe is a teacher. Right? He teaches elementary school kids. He's not the ultra wealthy industrialized.
Pause real quick. Is Mr. Wayne about to die in front of his classmates? Time out. Hold on. They said they burned the daycare. That's the first thing I heard in this. Is this random person about to murder Mr. Wayne and his fellow classmates? Oh. Oh no. Okay, let's play.
Guy that we're familiar with in the main DC universe. But then shots start ringing out in the zoo. Now, of course, this leads to kind of flashing back to the moment, Bruce Wayne punching the bag, basically breaking it, and then meeting with what you and I know as Killer Croc. Now, he's not really the villain that we're familiar with. In fact, one of the other cool things that's a development here is that there is a kind of conversation back and forth where they talk about how, like, Ozzy or Oswald Cobblepot effectively hooked up Killer Croc with an exotic pet license, so that's why he walks around with crocodiles and snakes and all kinds of cool reptiles.
Get away
but
from me.
the other thing is, they aren't really criminals. In fact, Killer Croc seems very, very active within the city of Gotham as somebody trying to improve the city, which is really, really cool. And again, we'll see how.
Sorry about so much. Is that a live crocodile? Get that away from me. Shoo! Get that away from
far
me.
reaching that goes here in a minute. But you end up learning that, like, Selina Kyle, Killer Croc, seemingly Oswald Cobblepot, and most likely the Riddler, just the redheaded kid in the glasses, they all go back to being childhood friends.
Okay,
right?
nice.
So, like, it's not as though they just kind of met each other indiscriminately along the way as Batman was being a villain, or at least being a superhero fighting villains, and that they just kind of did their villainous thing and that was it. It's cool that you get this history here. And so after that, you switch over to this just giant yacht out there in the water where you basically have a meeting between the Falcone-Maroni crime families and the head of the party animal gang. And what's interesting here is that this party animal leader is absolutely insane. I mean, this dude is really, really dark. Because, of course, with the Falcone and Maroni crime families, they've ran Gotham for years. And so some third party suddenly showing up here out of nowhere and quote-unquote upsetting the apple cart, that makes a lot of enemies.
What the helmet he's wearing?
And so they ultimately tell him, like, go away or we're going to kill everybody in your gang. That's just what's going to happen. And so what happens is that this guy tells them that he's a huge fan of what are basically death masks. And in fact, he says, "Friends, I'm afraid you have me all wrong. History is what I'm all about." That's what we're celebrating here. And so when more masks are shown to the Falcone and Maroni crime families, that this guy says, not just any masks, death masks. I collect them. That one is rumored to be Socrates himself. This, of course, is Martin Luther. Of course, those of you guys who know your history know that Martin Luther is
right now in
best
these
known for the Protestant Reformation. But then the head of the Maroni crime family is shown that it's not actually Sal Maroni who's leading it. Instead, it's the brother of Sal Maroni, who, as far as I'm aware, doesn't exist in any of DC Comics outside of this. But one of these masks, essentially the head of Sal Maroni, is held by this leader of the party animal gang, along with the cousin of Mr. Falcone. And he's like, and all the rest. So in essence, this guy came into town before the Falcone and Maroni crime families even understood what was going on. and started killing everybody, like killing all the other heads of the crime families in Gotham. So by the time these guys come to the seat of the table and say, you need to stop all your criminal activities, it's too late. The demons are at the door. There's no way to stop what's happening. And so these guys are immediately killed on the spot, and their heads are going to be mounted up just like everybody else. I told you, this story is amazing. Like, it's so
this story is amazing.
And
do you want free?
I was reading the panel. I'm like, well, what's going on there? This man talking about the history. I'm like, nah, I'm seeing their cousins and uncles over there. Their brothers' heads, faces, apparently talking about what's going on over there, and then they just get strangled in the background right now. And we're back.
So again, following that, you pick up with Bruce Wayne officially donning the Batman mantle. Now, one of the things that had happened during the conversation between Killer Croc and Bruce Wayne is Croc had told him, hey, like, Mayor Gordon is calling a kind of town hall meeting later on tonight to address the concerns of the citizenry in relation to the Party Animal Gang and all the things that are going on. And so again, this demonstrates the fact that Croc is very much active in the community. And where one of the citizens speak up and really just kind of chastise Jim Gordon as mayor about how ineffective he is, the fact that he ran on his position as a cop, but he really hasn't shown any of the backbone he traditionally showed as a cop, meaning he's not willing to do whatever needs to be done to protect the city of Gotham from the Party Animal Gang, that this guy says at least Mayor Hill did something. And so where Killer Croc stands up and says, like, Hamilton Hill was a crook, the response this guy gives is, yeah, but at least he was tough. And it kind of makes sense, right? The citizens of Gotham are desperate, and in times of desperation, people will believe what they want to believe. It doesn't have to be rational, and it doesn't have to be reasonable. It's just what they choose to think. And so in turn, you have this other guy who tells a story, and he says, I run Finger Tailors on 27th Street. Every single weekday for 71 years, I've walked to my shop, except the day my son was born and the day my wife died. 18,302 times I've walked there.
How'd you know that?
But I don't walk there anymore. I don't walk anywhere because I'm scared. And that's really what it is when it comes to the citizens of Gotham. Here's the kicker about all of this. While this entire town hall meeting is being conducted by Mayor Jim Gordon, Alfred Pennyworth is staking the whole thing out, and he's watching all of this.
That's a beautiful mustache right there.
He's basically in contact with his handler and kind of filling them in, and they're giving him information, different things like that. The Party Animal Gang is surrounding Town Hall, and there's dozens of them because their intention with all these people in one.
Now go back. I was reading this right over here. Alfred is like, hey, mass casualty is possible. Can I engage, please, or something like that? Permission denied, Pennyworth. Whatever happens there, you only observe. That's crazy. They said, yeah, who cares if they die? We gotta get more intel on them. We gotta see where they lead up, whatever. But just keep tabs on them, that's all. Who cares if people die? They die all the time in Gotham. Crazy. Wow. Wow.
And there's dozens of them because their intention with all these people in one place is.
Sorry again. I promise we will bring these criminals to justice now. Nah, shoot them. End their lives. They done heinous things. They gotta go. Forget justice. They gotta die. They gotta die.
Dozens of them because their intention with all these people in one place is to go in here and shoot the place up, kill everybody in one fell swoop. Now, where you transition back to Mayor Jim Gordon, who talks about how he's going to bring these guys to justice and that he's working around the clock with the police, people call him out, right? And they're like, the cops, man, the party animals just torched a police station 2 hours ago, right? The cops can't do anything because these guys are not afraid of cops. Whenever cops meet someone with an equally capable force, the only real ally that police have on their side is fear. The fact that that person is just either too afraid of authority or has too much respect for authority to challenge cops. But when they have the means to challenge police officers and then they
that cop was ready to smack him with the baton. That's crazy.
Serve no useful purpose in society. And so that's why a lot of these folks are so terrified. Now, at that point, seemingly Selena Kyle stands up. Of course, most of you guys know her as Catwoman. And she says,
right there.
Look at us, all of us, right? This is what they want. All of us fighting, scared, blaming each other. But Jim Gordon served this city honorably for a long time. I work with his office and I trust him. I also trust us to be better than this because it's not just up to him or Commissioner Bullock. it's up to all of us to stop these killers. This is our city.
But how are they gonna
before
stop
she
these
can finish
killers,
her
though?
sentence, a grenade comes flying in,
That's
really more of a
crazy.
flashbang, and just everybody's blinded by this thing. The party animals come busting in, and they're just like, so does anybody want to beg? Right? Like, does anybody want to talk about how they have a family, or, you know, they have kids to take care of, or like a sick old grandma? Because
Not hi
we
Jimmy,
love that
didn't
kind of
buy
stuff,
Jimmy.
right? Like, we absolutely love those things. Not only that, they fire off a shot at Jim Gordon. They don't kill him, but they do injure him. Of course, you also find out that his daughter Barbara Gordon is very much here and is basically just a beat cop. But after all this is done, suddenly these guys are yanked back out the door
Get over
slams
here.
shut, and like Barbara Gordon walks up, cracks the door open, and Batman's just
That
waiting
Batman,
there, and he
yeah,
says,
Batman,
whatever
yeah.
you hear, do not open this door. And
Oh, I
son,
like that. I
son,
like
son.
that.
You guys remember that scene in Hellraiser 2 when
Nope,
like
never
everybody was
watched it.
locked in the nightclub and you were on the outside and you could hear them all screaming for their lives as they died? That's basically what happens here, man. Son, son, son. Batman
Son,
lets
son.
loose, and it's amazing. So like Alfred
I wanna
Pennyworth
see.
is watching all this unfold, and he's told, like, if this third party disrupts the intelligence you're supposed to be gathering, you are to engage. And so Pennyworth is like, okay. Then he shuts his eyes, right? Because he can't stop what he can't see. Plausible deniability.
Smart,
and so
Alfred,
all
smart.
these guys, right? These party animal dudes just start firing it up at Batman, who's just like hanging from the rafters. And then, like, it turns out his entire outfit is bulletproof. And this guy
Hey.
descends
that man
on
is
them
jacked,
like
jacked
a
for
demon.
realsy.
And without saying one word, starts taking out every single one of these guys.
Okay,
Now, while all
okay.
this is going on, Alfred Pennyworth, who's really more listening to everything than physically watching everything, gives this really cool monologue and this amazing insight into the
Wait,
nature of
what?
this version of Batman. And he says, look at you go. Whoever you are, you've got flair. I'll give you that. So let's see what you can really do. And so in watching Batman fight, he says, you're fast, you're steady. Above all, and so in watching
Wait,
Batman
what?
fight, he says, you're fast.
Oh, did he grab like the horn things? Those are weapons? Oh. Oh, that's actually dope. I thought that was part of his I mean it is, but oh wow.
You're steady.
Batarangs,
Above
or
all,
sharp knives.
you're focused. You've been waiting for this, haven't you? You have. You've trained too. Mixed
he is
martial
cutting
arts,
them up.
which
He
is
is
your
di-
own
oh,
blend.
yeah, he is-
Muay Thai,
he is
Brazilian
dicing them
Jiu-Jitsu,
up.
but you're a striker above
He's not
all
killing them though,
else.
so he's still the normal
Brutal,
Batman right
yet
now. He's
precise.
just very brutal.
You're putting on a show. A leg stomped on so everyone hears the crack. An arm
Dang.
snapped over your knee, sending a message to every single person. You're enjoying it too. And the knife work, my God, so bloody, yet so precise. Each artery is missed by just enough. No fatalities at all, not one.
The classic
So,
Batman,
that
no
means
fatalities,
you're an
but I'm gonna
ideal.
make sure you in the
Now,
hospital
this
forever.
leads to this guy called the Hand, or at least seemingly he just addresses himself and saying, this hand has killed more people than you can count. Now I'm going to give you one chance to get out of our way. Now it's kind of a cool thing because I'd like
What
to
is
think
Batman
this guy
holding?
is just called the Hand. Of course, this guy breaks out the biggest meat cleaver I've ever seen. So what does Batman do? He returns in kind, and he brings out the Batman battle axe, which
He
is
has a battle axe?
and just
He
cuts
has a
this
ba-
guy's hand clean off, right? Just like that.
I
And
agree
he
with
just
this.
tells him,
I
he
agree
just
with
kind
this
of taunts him.
brutality.
He's like, there's a hospital around here somewhere, but I can't remember which direction it is. So you better start running unless you want to bleed to death. And then he tells the rest of them, which really kind of reveals more, that the party animals kind of rely on numbers and really threat of danger for their schemes than any actual backbone. Batman tells them, like, get out of my way. And like,
Ooh.
they all just take off running. Now, Alfred watching
I'm not
this,
messing
he
with
says,
some-
well done.
Talking about, I'm not messing with a Batman with a battle axe. You gave this man a weapon, a dangerous weapon. I'm not messing with this man.
But if you were a true tactician, you'd have set up a trap for those that were fleeing the scene, only to find out that he did, right? Batman seemingly activates this whole thing and blows this place to pieces. Now,
Oh,
it's not
okay,
enough
what'd
to
you even
kill
put the
everybody
bombs
here,
there?
but it is enough to get the job done. And so Alfred is told by his contact, right? They're said, what's going on there? The satellite makes no sense. Whoever the player is, you are to engage. And Alfred says, okay. So Alfred moves up on Batman, and then he says, "This is the sound of a DC-34 automatic
I don't
shotgun,
know what
son.
DC-34
There are
is.
only
Like,
three
I
of
mean,
them
well,
in the
DC,
world.
yeah,
It
comics.
could blow your brains all over the sidewalk before you even blink." What does Batman say? "Man, son, you better come strong." Kicks Alfred,
You
knocks
better
the gun
come
out of his
strong.
hand, and then takes off with the gun, right? He's just like, "It sounds dangerous." And he just leaves.
Yoink.
And so after that, you have Alfred,
Man, you got
who
your
basically
gun
does
stolen.
this huge,
Dang.
deep down investigation on who this Batman guy is. And in effect, he gives us the modern day origin of absolute Batman in the absolute universe.
Oh,
And
his
he
family's
says,
still alive.
the
Okay,
next day,
cool.
everyone's talking
I
about
was wrong.
who is the Batman. So, who are you really? Bruce Wayne. You hide your tracks well, but it's easy when you're no one. Just some guy, 24 years old. Your mom is a social worker, your dad is a teacher. You grow up in crime alley, high friends in low places, a tight group. You're smart, excel in school, your parents have you tested, and you score near genius level. Then, in the 5th grade, you win a student engineering competition, creating a mobile collapsible bridge that can be used to bring aid to locations hit by catastrophic damage
Man was a
from war
genius,
and
yeah.
cataclysm.
Yeah,
The
he's still a
design
genius.
is
He's still a genius.
origami-like, based on the anatomy of a bat wing. And the prize is a trophy and a trip for your whole class
Oh, no,
to
this
the
is-
Gotham
okay, that
Zoo,
was- that was still
where
fast.
it all starts.
Okay, here we
because
go.
somebody starts firing into the crowd. People are literally
Yeah.
perishing here.
He did
And
say there was
so
gunshots
Thomas
at the
Wayne
zoo.
grabs all the kids and takes them into the bat house, where he tells them all to stay safe. But in the midst of it, he's seemingly shot. And so what happens is Alfred says, after that, you lose yourself for a while. You lash out, you rage at the world, but then you find yourself again. Something
okay.
inspires you. You straighten out, you go back to school and get a scholarship to
Man,
the
was there
best
football?
university in the state. But when you get there, you get injured in the first week of
Ah.
soft tissue tear. And he says, "I've seen the x-rays though, and I've been in command of men who faked injury to escape duty.
Oh, wait,
and I
no.
suspect
Here's a
that's
trick.
exactly what you did. But why? You were good enough to be a star, even go pro, because you were saving your body for last night. For all of this, whatever it is that you've built, you studied applied mechanics, chemistry, criminal psychology, military theory, socio-cultural history, everything to
No, yeah, what is happening exactly? Well, so his mom is still alive. Only his dad died in that shooter incident in the zoo. So oh, it's Freakier Friday. What the heck? Why they remaking this or redoing this? You know what? Who cares? It's about Batman. Not about this. It's about Batman time. And we're back.
prepare you for when you came home. And then you did. You set up in Gotham and worked in the power grid, then the water department. After that, you interned at City Hall, studying public policy, macro and micro policy,
was everywhere
learning your city,
in
the
Gotham.
body, the brain, every single part of Gotham, until finally you come full circle, ever the engineer, creating, building, you even fix what you break, repairing the stairs that you blew up last night. You've built something here, Bruce. I see it now, and it's truly impressive. But it's really awesome because what it does is it removes Batman from the traditional plot device type character where he's like, I know the city inside and out, because I've been in it for a very long time. And instead, it provides a more practical explanation for why Batman knows the city so well, which is why I say the Absolute Universe is DC's version of Marvel's Ultimate Universe, because the Ultimate Universe was kind of the answer to the question, what if superheroes were more grounded and existed in the modern day?
Okay,
What would it
that's
look
actually
like?
an interesting
And that's what the
concept.
Absolute Universe is, right? It's
There's more
really
than one?
cool, the way
I
it's
thought it was just
done.
Batman.
And so what ends up happening is Alfred says, I've taken men down like you before, in cities and jungles and deserts all over the world, because you're crusaders. And crusaders always have a weakness because they always have something that they care about. And yours is sitting right there, which is his mom.
Don't
That
touch
Martha
his
Wayne
mom.
seemingly never
Hey, Alfred, don't touch his mom. You are still his butler, even though it's a different universe. You are still his butler deep down. Don't you lay a single hand, a single mustache on Bruce's mama. He doesn't get that often. He doesn't get that at all, really. Don't touch it. Don't take it away in this universe.
died. it was just his father. So you can kind of draw these almost Peter Parker parallels between this version of Batman and the one that you traditionally see in DC Comics, where he lost both parents.
Yeah.
And so it's essentially them just kind of talking and Bruce saying, I love you and that kind of thing, and the way you would relate to your parent, essentially. And so Alfred kind of continues on and he says, I could kill you right here in front of her. It would be that easy. It's what I should do, but you're just a kid. And so at the end of the day, you have Alfred who shows up to Batman in what's effectively his hideout. But it's not really down in the Batcave under Wayne Manor, because there is no Wayne Manor.
Yeah,
it's hard to have a Wayne Manor when your mom's just a social worker and doesn't make
he's not rich.
billions and billions of dollars. And so where Bruce Wayne resides here is actually on top of these old abandoned buildings, almost up in the sky. And so it allows him to operate with no one batting an eye on what he's doing, because the buildings are designed to just kind of be like tax fronts, right? That they're really more write-offs than anything else. So the buildings are unoccupied. Nobody actually uses them. And so Alfred showing up here with his pistol is like, I'm shutting you down, right? That's the end of it. And so Batman draws the very gun that he took from Alfred, right? That DC-34 shotgun. And Alfred's like, I thought you were better than this, right? You're non-lethal. You don't kill people, right? And so he's like, give me the gun. And Batman opens fire on Alfred, right? Seemingly blows this guy away. And then he takes his motorcycle and he rides off. Now, here's the cool thing, right? Again, Alfred provides commentary here. He's like, a few things happened very fast.
He's like, wait a minute, hold on. Let me address the situation here, because what the hell just happened to me? He's like, all right, he gets shot. All right, hold on. What the hell just happened? Where am I? Why am I alive? What's going on? A lot just happened. Let me dissect this. That's hilarious, actually.
It's commentary.
Hold on, wait a minute.
A few things happened very fast. First, I realized that he modified my prize shotgun to be non-lethal. Basically, he ruined it. Second, I hear my very gun clatter by my side as though he's saying, keep it. And third, I hear this roar, the roar of my own motorcycle.
He
and
took
fourth,
your gun,
his
gave it
voice
back, and took
says,
your bike.
you're not the only one who follows people.
Ooh.
So seemingly, from the first time that Alfred Pennyworth arrived in the city of Gotham, Bruce Wayne's been following him. He's been learning about him, gaining information in the same way that Alfred's been gaining information about him. And so the question that really Alfred asks here is, what does all this mean and where are you going, right? Like when you ride off like this, are you going to get the lay of the land?
Don't talk to my mom again like that.
What happens when you basically become the person that you really are intending to be? Not only that, you pick up with this epilogue, which is really, really cool, where Alfred, speaking with his contact, says, I'll take care of Batman the next time he interferes. And his contact says, okay, deal. But for what it's worth, the target that you were previously following in the Philippines before we yanked you out and brought you here, he's in the wind. Nobody knows where he is. We thought you should know. Here's the thing. It's amazing, because what happens is Alfred says, 5 years I tracked him while he studied with Henry Picard in France. Then he killed the guy while he trained with the League of Assassins, and then he killed them. Now this guy's in the wind. And so you pick up in Manila, and basically you have these two pilots, right? One of them says, or really asks here, to be honest, is there nothing else that we call him besides Sir? Like there's no name or anything like that? And the other pilot says, nope, like all the names are fake anyway. Jack, Arthur, even I don't know his real name. When you're one of the 30 richest men on the planet, you can be whoever you want to be. And so this other guy says, you think he'd want to be my rich, generous best friend? And this guy says, no, right? Don't do that. Do not joke. And when the guy asks why, the second pilot says, didn't you hear? The guy never laughs, not at anything ever. That's why they call him the Joker.
That's the Joker. That's insane.
Scott Snyder's
Joker's
back,
the rich
and
guy?
I am so excited to.
Wait.
We're gonna bring this to an end. Scott Snyder's back, son, and I am so excited to see where this goes. But thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like, and I will catch you all later.
That's the Joker. Hold on, let me go back and make sure I
why
missed anything.
the guy never laughs. Not says no. The guy says, you think he'd want to be my rich, generous? I am the Joker. With that being said, guys,
okay,
we're gonna bring this
but
to an end. Scott Snyder's back, son, and I am so excited to see where this goes. But thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like, and I will catch you all later.
That's a crazy, like, ooh, flip. Like, oh.
The new iPhone
Joke's actually rich.
Pro?
What? No. And Alfred's been tracking the Joker for 5 years, and I forgot the place he already said, but wow, that's gonna be something right there. Okay, yeah. Now I am very intrigued on this Batman, Absolute Batman series. I didn't know the Absolute series was more like a grounded superhero take on certain characters. I saw Superman there too, so I'm curious how that looks. But wow, okay. So now I'm even more curious why they're not villains, but like Killer Croc, Mr. Free. I'm curious why they look like that, because I'm trying to figure out what caused them to mutate to such horrifying creatures. Yeah, no, he has a mom. Stop holding that. Hey, we're not here. Hey, stop that. Pause that. Issue 2. Oh, you're gonna do each issue. Oh, okay. Wow. Okay, there's a playlist 2 for this. It came out 2024. I did not know that. I am so behind. I thought it came out this year. Because initially, after this, like in the future, I was gonna check out like a longer version of the Absolute Batman that goes into the origins, like an hour and a half long. But I didn't know he has a playlist for this. That'd be interesting to go through that too. I don't know. Depends on what you guys want, because I am now very intrigued on the Absolute Batman series. The most brutal Batman ever. Yeah, I mean, because we already know that Batman is brutal. Like, Batman overall, he's he's a very brutal character, breaking people's body parts, whatever. But this version, like, yeah, nah, I'm gonna cut your hand off. Why? Why not? You're not dead, right? You're fine. You'll live. As long as you're not dead, it's okay. That's his mentality. If you didn't die from it, I didn't cross a line. So his mom is alive. His dad's dead though. He has childhood friends like Killer Croc, or not Killer Croc, but I'm gonna call him Killer Croc, Catwoman. There's somebody else I think too. Oh, the Riddler's gonna be funny. Is the Riddler? Did they show the Riddler yet? Because that'd be funny to see him. Like, what does he look like? Does he have a crazy transformation too? He better not. He's the Riddler. I know about Bane like a little bit. Like, he looks like really juiced, even more juiced up than before. And I think him and Batman fought. And I think Bane destroyed him the first encounter, but Batman got revenge, I think. I've been seeing like it pop up. I never watched the video, but yeah. Interesting. Now I think he's with the Joker. I'm not too sure about that, but interesting. Okay, yeah. Absolute Batman. Look at that man. That man is strong. Also, he doesn't have a Batmobile, no Batcave, no butler. He don't got a butler. He has no money. That is insane. I feel like something's gonna happen to his mom then. Probably gonna be like a turning point. I don't know. I'm curious where this is going. But yeah, we're gonna head out of here now. Got some more videos I want to check out. So hope you enjoy my reaction. And thank you for watching. My cup of tea is out of here. See you later. Man, that butter. Okay, just from like the little issue 1, I'm assuming this was. Guys, we got some great detail. I feel the thing with Alfred was funny, like, oh, I took your shotgun. I somehow modified the shotgun that it was like the strongest or whatever, like the only 3 shotguns in the world, the DC-34. I made it non-lethal. I'm gonna shoot you with it. You can have it back now. I don't want it anymore, but I'm gonna take your bike. Dang, you got robbed twice. You've been robbed twice. And when he got shot, he was like, wait a minute, hold on. What happened to me? What's going on? Let's set the record straight. What just happened? Let me break this down. Oh, Alfred, leave that brother alone. Leave that brother alone. This man knew you were following him the entire time. Don't do it, Alfred. You don't want the smoke.